Gotcha. Huh? Hoorah!
The power of Pest!
Welcome to Pest Control 2, the sequel to the first Pest Control game, a co-op melee action published and developed by Fat Shark, where you and 3 other exterminators must traverse through the hazardous environments that were laid waste by the varieties of enemies you will have to face, from ratmen or skavens as they are called, that are mischievous and numerous that will swarm and overwhelm your chances of advancing throughout the campaigns. There are also the Rot Blood tribes, otherwise known as Chaos, where their distinct lack of clothing and awareness of danger makes them formidable foes due to the fact that they are not afraid to take up the challenge of battling you, either individually or head-on in a horde. There are also the Beastmen that are added on to the Winds of Magic DLC. Their towering presence and their seemingly endless supply of them will bring a halt towards your progress. The game takes place in the Warhammer fantasy universe. If you're unsure what that is, imagine any other medieval fantasy universe, but more bloodier and with weird cosmetics. You'll play as one of the 5 main characters throughout the multi-layer campaigns, and each offer their own sets of subclasses or careers, and a wide cast of weapons so you can mix and match your playstyles while causing extinction of rats. Marcus, the simple man in every possible way. His jobs, his attitude, his mindset, and his weapons.
I'm a bloody battering ram, that's what I am!
Barden, the jolly and determined dwarf who will most likely be the first one to rush into the heat of battle. And accompanied by his great sense of humor. Krillian, the markswoman and the sarcastic elf whose personality is more fitted to a tsundere.
Yes, have a good look. I'm sure you've nothing better to do.
Sienna, the wizard of the group who's more than happy to set everything ablaze, alongside with her hot-temperedness and commitment to completing the group's goals.
What's some real red hot moves, darling?
And finally, my personal favorite, Victor Saltspire.
Go perish all heretics! Lighted and flail alike!
The unwavering racist that will stop at nothing to purge the heretics that stand in front of him, enemies and friends alike. Fortunately, from the standards of the witch hunters, he's the more reasonable one, allying himself with others so he can perform his job better. These 5 dysfunctional members have their own sets of personalities that clash with one another, making them memorable. Their sets of dialogue and interactions make the story and the immersion in the game even more pristine, and their never-ending banter makes the characters unique. The melee-focused adrenaline is encouraged, your ammo is limited, and your chance of finding more is scarce, so you will learn how that mallet of yours is your best friend. It won't be that difficult to understand. You have your light attacks, your heavy attacks, your blocks, your shoves, and your dodges. Sounds simple enough. Now take all of this and combine them to a string of combos, and you got yourself a solution to the problems at hand, or in this case, in front of you. The tools and weapons have a wide range of variety to commandeer the player's taste, from swords and spears that cleave through hordes of enemies, big weapons like the axes that deliver huge damage, anti-armor weapons with hammers, and daggers for breaking your fingers at maximum speed. There are also shield variants that give you more stamina so you can absorb more blows, and also the dual-wielded ones that sacrifice stamina in exchange for even more powerful strikes. Although the ranged weapons aren't typically used as a main weapon, including with harder difficulties that introduce friendly fire, they still include some choices, from firearms and blunderbusses, longbows and repeating crossbows, and even a walking mortar if you have that confidence without turning your teammates into ash. Unless you have specific careers to counteract the stingy amount of ammo, it's best to preserve them for the elites or specials. The exceptions for it would be throwing weapons or magical staves that can be overheated. Too much if be laughed at for not knowing how to manage a bar. Now with all these weapons, surely the feeling of swinging them would be amazing, and you'd be right. Fat Shark made sure that striking, slashing, and clubbing was spectacular. The weight of each weapon and the devastation while swinging just rushes your mind with dopamine. You can see limbs flying and heads crushed. Just don't get distracted on fighting the horde, developing tunnel vision, only get blindsided by another skaven you didn't see, and then getting downed. Many players have compared this game to Left 4 Dead, and they are right to make that comparison. Vermintide 2 offers the similar AI director, making multiple playthroughs completely different, deciding which enemies and items spawn in and where to put them. Enemy spawn include the elites that are tougher to kill and can arrive in numbers as patrols. Storm vermins, chaos warriors, and pestigores are the damage sponges, being able to survive and withstand blows that would otherwise be deadly, unless of course you're holding the fateful mallet. Plague monks, maulers, and savages are the heavy hitters, and can put you down before you can say, "Oh shit." The specials exist only to make your journey absolutely painful, and have unique abilities to hinder your progress. Pinners like the Pack Master, Gunner Runner, and Live Leech are more comfortable with jumping onto your face and keeping you incapacitated until you're either dead or a teammate saves you. Rangers such as Globadier, Rattling Gunner, Warfire Thrower, and Blightstormer that will harass you from a distance, requiring a bit of planning and teamwork to take down one of them. The rest are the standard bearers that will increase the maximum HP of the enemies around it and constantly heal them until you destroy the banner. And the Sack Rat that will Usain Bolt away from you, and killing it rewards items. These specials cannot be dealt alone, and simply having one of them attacking you will put you to the ground and keep you there until you are helped by a teammate. However, you will know who they are and where they are just by hearing their cues. Am I forgetting something? Alright, the bosses. Gigantic beasts that can end runs quickly if you aren't too careful, and love to throw you off cliffs. Although usually one of the bosses can show up, it requires the entire team to take them down. Once you figure out how left click and right click works and know how to dodge, higher difficulties are available to test your skills and decide which careers you like the most. Do you prefer pelting them from a distance and can't admit to the fact you forgot what a sword is? Do you admire brick walls every day rather be able to absorb loads of damage? Do you like the fact that the front of your skull is the best way to solve all problems, including cliffs? Or do you prefer destroying your vocal cords in order to push your enemies, taunt them, or buff your allies? All the careers in the game have a little something for your players, and what better way to improve your career's performance than to have better weapons? Completing objectives, getting achievements, and leveling up gives you a chest, rewarding you with tools and trinkets that can beef up your power level. Finishing your campaigns gives you a chest as well, but with a twist. You can increase the rarity of the chest, which increases the rarity of the items, pushing it up to rare or even legendary. How fast you beat the campaign, collecting loot dices, the difficulty of the run, and Randall not being a fucking dick boosts the rarity of the chest. Tomes and grimoires also increase the quality of the chests. Finding tomes isn't that difficult, you just have to be looking for it. It does take the medical slot, but you can swap it with any healing potions or medical supplies. Grimoires are much harder to find. Either you have the entire list of campaign maps memorized, or you looked it up on the guide. Getting them takes the 4th slot that holds potions. You could not swap it for any potions, but you could throw it away for fun. And it also curses the entire party, meaning you have less HP, unless your name is a warrior priest and you have 100% resistance to curses. Don't like the weapon you got or you have a preference for a certain weapon? Smelt it, and now you can choose which weapon you want. Don't like the properties or traits of the weapon? Change it. Want to slap the skin you got from the shop? Bam! Looks fantastic. There's also the Chaos Waste if you get bored of playing the campaigns. It's a free DLC expansion with roguelike elements and randomized levels to keep it fresh. A change from the standard gameplay with buffs, challenges, and maps to try out. You don't really need to understand the lore behind this game. You see this enemy, and this one, and this one, kill them. But to those who are curious how the hell did this shit hit the fan, where the Skaven and the Chaos Forces are teaming up with each other, well, there's a detailed lore with dedication of explaining the situations that the characters are in. But to some prefer, going outside and touching grass, so I'll narrow it down to short paragraphs for your convenience. Here's how it all started. Within the Warhammer fantasy universe, this event takes place in the end of times of the known world. Many humans believe that rats standing on 2 legs and are the size of humans are to be myths, proving them all wrong by ambushing them among the streets, sieging the cities and taking over towns within hours. Chaos joined the fray and siding with the Skavens to massacre and ravage throughout the lands, creating an alliance called the Pack Sworn. The Skavens used to be in separated tribes that would be at war with each other, before a big horned rat had the brightest ideas and said, "Hey guys, what about the surface dwellers?" Then they all teamed up to fight the surface dwellers. The forces of chaos, or the Rotbloods that praise the god Nurgle, yes, Nurgle, raised in the most brutal ways possible, arrived to cause even more destruction and, well, chaos. The Beastmen are chaos mutated humanoids that aren't a part of the lore, but they're fun to slay nonetheless. The 5 unlikely heroes, also known as Ubersreich 5, are arriving in the town of Ubersreich when everything went to shit. Victor Saltzpyre hired Marcus Kruber and helped him with guarding Sienna, making their way towards her trial to be judged for being a witch until the Skavens found a sale for the Stab 1, Stab 5 for free, as they forged a quick alliance. Bardin and Carillion were exiled from their homes when they stumbled upon the 3, somehow. Together, they fled from the swarm of Skavens into the local inn, countering the band that will give the members their mission, Franz Loner.
Well, there's no accounting for taste.
With the unlikely alliance and the growing army of Skavens and Ratbloods, they venture towards the abandoned Empire cities, Skaven nests, and underground tunnels to put an end towards their ultimate plan, the Skittergate, that will draw in more and more forces into key locations, stop the magical mice nonsense, and make their lives more difficult as they made the heroes' lives difficult as well. Vermintide 2 has it all to make the ingredients for a fantastic horde-slaying game, from the combat that spices up the gameplay flawlessly and many options to consider your tastes, gorgeous environments and backstories that give it a distinct view of the settings of the game, and lovable characters and interactions with each other and the surroundings around them, mixed together to make the experience feel so unforgettable, even with the bugs within the game. Hop in with some friends, grab a weapon, and start swinging. And if you reached the end of this video, I would like to say, thank you, and see you on the next video.